Karen. And Karen, can you say what do you do and why are you qualified to talk about DIY weddings?
Okay. So, my name is Karen. Cool. Let's not say my last name exactly because it's too long.
Let's keep it to Karen.
Let's keep it to Karen. Yes. How long have I been in this industry? Holy, old. No, 2000,
no.
But there, no. 2000. Let's say 2010. 2010. That's where my master's degree kicked in. I did a master's degree in innovative hospitality management.
A master's degree.
Wow. You can actually.
I have a college degree.
Doesn't matter.
At Seneca College.
It's the experience that talks. No,
that's pretty cool.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. So why did I do that? I was always into hospitality. It was one of my things. I got pulled over. Like I liked people helping, doing this, doing that. It was something like it really intrigued me. Right now, I was brought in there. I did my master's. I worked in Europe. Yes, I did. Different countries. Then I went back home. Well, Barcelona, Netherlands, London. Then I went back home. Didn't like it, let's say, we came to Canada.
So not to mention, so like completely off topic, but you had to speak at least 3 languages.
Yes, I do. So Spanish, English, I follow French, I follow German, and I follow Dutch because I lived in the Netherlands. So
wow,
I have to follow
Dutch for me would be like
it's fun. It's like it's a whole like German. You know, German. It's very strong, very strong. That's for sure. So. Summing up, that's what it is. Again, I got into industry since that time. Then when I got and immigrated to Canada, I did some volunteer work. So I was in the oh God, what's the name? Harbourfront Center. So that's where my first time I could put my feet in the water and what is an event in Canada? Because when I kept applying here to jobs, they kept saying to me, "Oh, you don't have experience. You don't." I'm like,
well, the Canadian experience. Don't even get
Canadian
into that.
experience, yeah.
Okay, so Karen's well qualified and work in the industry enough to be have the authority to speak about events. Okay, so definitely Karen had the experience to talk about this, and that's very interesting. My background is completely different.
Yeah.
I got into events, and I kind of did a little events and working in a country club back when I was from Venezuela, where I'm from. But I never did. My stuff was volunteering, and also being the clown of a lot of family gatherings and friend gatherings. So background in music, play music, kind of entertainer scenario. But exactly. But I got here and I got to. Because of that background of doing events or me liking events, got me here into Canada in a completely different career path. So I ended up doing event production at a college here in Canada, and then I did that program and start working in audiovisual right away, and working on as a audiovisual technician. I knew that if I learned the audiovisual portion, I will be able to present it, sell it, produce because that's what you want. You produce the events, and then and that was my path. So that took me into that and DJing and MCing and entertainment in general. So I've been working in events, and that part of the audiovisual portion, like your special effects and what it comes behind the scenes for that sound, DJ to sound amazing, for that MC to have all the elements you need for a successful event. So that's my path. Do it yourself wedding.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so basically in the scenario or having the do it yourself wedding is because budget.
Budget, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, 100%.
We don't have the budget to pay a wedding planner. Basically, it goes down to the wedding planner.
Yeah.
There's not much you can do with DIY weddings with pictures or videos. There's
you need a photographer.
There's not much you can do with DIY with a DJ. That might be something that it will be kind of weird.
You need it, yeah.
Also, DIY weddings in terms of vendors in general, the majority you need kind of like to allocate your money towards getting the right vendor without breaking the bank.
But remember.
But we're talking about DIY wedding planning.
Gotcha. Okay.
What would you suggest for them to start in case that they are in the scenario of actually DIY weddings? They're doing it yourself. You're trying to, you don't have the budget. Maybe you have a friend helping you. Maybe you have your maid of honor helping you. Maybe it's your mom. So in that scenario, what we know as vendors that we always gonna account for issues. These live events happening, so something always may come up, and even with all that planning, the idea of having that wedding planner or that person organizing your event is that can take that stress out of the couple.
So
step number one, you just got engaged.
There's a new couple in town, and they're like, "What do we do? Where do we want to get married?" That's the first question. I would say, even to myself, where am I getting married? So then this is where you take your decision. Okay, am I going to do a small wedding? Am I going to do a big wedding? Am I going to do a destination wedding? Right? So all there. Let's say we pick in here.
So
Canada,
location
exactly.
is important.
Very important.
Once you have location, then I guess the biggest step will be choosing the venue.
Yes.
Which I have a lot to say about that. Especially where part of the world you are.
Yeah.
Here for us in Canada, it's a very particular, let's say, business. And I think that it can be the make it or break it scenario for a lot of things that you're gonna choose down the line.
Yes.
So venue. So for you, what will be the importance of, from the planning perspective, what will be the importance of the venue? And I can take the other part, like the audiovisual and all that, other aspects of the venue. But I'll let you go first.
So for the venue, I would say, so now timing, what you can do, what you cannot do, what you have included in your package. What happens if you go under your guarantee number that you already told them, right? So all those key things will either break you or help you, right? Do you have a coordinator there? Can she kind of substitute the wedding planner? Yes or no? Sometimes yes, depending on the type of the venue, right? Of the hall, and what are the things that you're doing? Because if you're having everything on the same location, you're not moving to church, you're not moving here, you're not coming from a big thing in the morning. I'm not saying it's gonna substitute the wedding planner, but if you have a good logistics coordinator and you don't have really that much things going on, you may end up with saying, hey, you know what, really I don't need it, right? But if you have a very intriguing wedding, the birds have to fly at this time, and fireworks have to go, and there's a belly dancer coming, and there's a violin. Okay,
so the more populated that agenda is, the more logistics involved.
You're gonna need, definitely.
For me, the part of the venue, what is important is gonna determine along the lines a lot of things. First, what regulations the venue has, what kind of wedding do you envision. Let's say, and I give a quick example. Let's say you want to have your cake coming down from the ceiling, and that's something that we always say it in a very funny way, because don't do it.
Yeah.
But in that case, if you select something like that, you will need to have a venue that has the possibility of rigging.
Yes.
Right? Rigging is a very delicate subject. You're rigging things above people's head. If it falls, accidents can happen.
Yeah.
So, but let's just start for the fact that you actually you're gonna be able to actually have the possibility. Let's say you want to bring a band, you want to bring musicians, and they had a regulation into contracts, exclusivity vendors in the venue. So all these things are gonna be important when you select that place.
Yes.
And not because once you put that contract there and you sign your papers, you're locked in. You're gonna lose that money, at least a deposit.
Yes.
In majority of venues, at least here in Canada, and I would assume that's a normal practice of business.
Yes. Anywhere you sign a contract, is you're binded to the contract. and that's it.
So choosing the venue is important, but then it is for me more important is for you to have that overall picture of what is it you're looking for. Because then when you start adding elements, they might not work with that venue that you selected.
Yes.
Also, then you have that part. The venue has to have good food. It has to have, the good service. And then how much they're gonna charge you per plate. That's what I'm assuming that's gonna be something.
That depends on location. That depends on what type it is. If it's a hotel, if it's a restaurant, if it's a banquet hall. Like it depends on so many different other aspects, right?
Yeah.
Where's the location of it? If it's a golf court or whatever it is, right?
Yeah. So definitely look big picture.
Yeah.
Envision what would be that you want to do, what in those elements that you envision, what would be the most difficult to achieve, and then if that venue that you are selecting can help you with that portion, then you're in a good track.
Yeah.
The worst thing you want to do is that you like I said, you want to rig something and there's no
rigging.
No rigging.
You're like in outside.
Oh, I seen brides that want to mask the venue a lot. I think that's a big no. If you need to mask things a lot and put drape here and there because you don't
Then
like
you're
it,
not
then
picking
you're
the
in
right
the wrong venue.
Yeah, you're gonna spend now more money, and now if you're DIY, why would you spend more money on changing something if you should have just got it on the first place looking different?
Yeah.
Right? Like for what? For what? Right?
Definitely. So venue, okay, so that's the best kind of like go to. Think about what you want. Then so location, overall picture, then venue.
Venue.
Then you move from that.
So from that, now you would have to move, and this goes a little bit linked to the venue, would be people you're inviting. Because the venue will also dictate the amount of people you can invite. Now, if you're in a small space, because that's what you really want, then now you had 400 people, now you're going to bring it down to 100 because that's what you want, right? So it all goes hand in hand, but it is like almost in the second choice because you're going to pick first where you want to do it. Now you're going to base all the rest of the stuff on wherever you picked. And then after that, you go with your vendors, right? So you start doing your vendors. Okay, the most important thing I would say it is you have to book the big chunk of vendors that you need. In this case, do you need a DJ? Yes, you do. You do need a DJ on your wedding day. Do you need a photographer? Yes, you do. You do need a photographer. Now, would that photographer have a second shooter? Does it gonna have a third shooter? Are you gonna do video? Are you gonna not? Like, that's all the wants and the needs, right?
Okay.
That's where it comes in.
So basically, and that's, I think that's the thing that you're saying there, because that's something that for me, I see a lot, is that a lot of people, the reality versus the expectation.
Yes.
They want a lot of stuff. They might not need everything that they want. They should, because they see it on social media, whatever. So I get it, but if it's budget conscious, that's where we're talking about. That you have a budget, you can still have the right elements without breaking the bank.
Yeah.
That means that you need that DJ, but you don't need maybe a band. Or
an LED frame with
an LED booth for the DJ, because guess what? It's your wedding. It's not the DJ's event.
And
right?
DJing, right?
Right. So that's important.
Yeah.
And I see that a lot, that people want everything in the menu, but they don't they want to pay for the appetizer only.
Exactly. So
right?
you can't do that. Like, still people, like, they need to, if they're getting hired, they need to deliver whatever they're getting hired for.
Maybe this is a good way to, help small businesses, people that want to start up, like people that they're trying to get their foot in the industry, and they can offer you a better price. Not necessarily means that they're gonna be bad or cheap because they're a small business. It's just they're trying to start up, right? But in that sense, definitely match your wedding with your budget.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't go over with things that you don't need.
Exactly.
And then that way you're gonna be in the right track.
Yeah. So okay, what do I really need? What do I can really cut? Okay. So let's call it now still in vendors. Do you need something in the center of a table? Yeah, you kind of do, because if not, the center of the table will be empty. Whether you do it yourself, you do the candles, or you do some greenery, or you do some books, you get creative that goes with the theme that you picked up. You go, I don't know, Star Wars or whatever it is, right? Whatever you want to do that goes with you. That would be for the centerpieces, right? Now, on the back end, do you need, now my turn, let's say, a wedding planner on that day? Now, do you need it or you don't need it? Again,
what do you think there's going to be a line where you actually...
You draw the line
You draw the line and say you need a wedding planner.
Big thing would be, if it's a really intrigued wedding, there's a lot of vendors that you need to hold accountable to help, right? And third, the amount of guests that you have in a wedding. It could be down to 115. Don't take me like whatever. I just did 155 people wedding this Saturday that just passed. And was it a lot of hassle compared to the 800 people that I did 3 weeks ago? The 800 was a little bit more chaotic than it was the 155 people. That is 100% sure, right? Now, what was the difference? The culture. The elements that had to take place in order for, let's say, the procession to start, right? So in a particular I don't know what I call this, culture, you have to do a procession a certain way, and then your typical regular wedding is just open door, closed door, open, closed door. You don't need that much, right? I didn't need an assistant for the 800. I didn't need an assistant for the 155.
Yeah.
Right? So, but you do need that neutral person. Even for the 155, you needed that neutral person.
I think it would be down to how populated that agenda is.
Yes.
How many things you want to do, how much do you want to accomplish, and still have a good time, be able to give yourself a drink and dance.
Yeah.
If you have a lot of different elements, a lot of moving parts, you definitely need somebody to help you coordinate that, because it's no way you're gonna be able to accomplish yourself. Now, if we're talking about more laid back, more countryside, more like family, more intimate, then you have a couple of speeches. Then you have your one dance maybe. That way, I think definitely you can get away with the whole helping you, even the captain of the whole or the coordinator just trying to help you.
That's it. Yeah.
Doing whatever you need to do.
It's an intro. It's a salad. It's a pasta. It's a main. 2 speeches. You're up dancing. You're fine.
For that, you're fine.
You're fine.
Right? But that's for me. It draws the line in the MC portion.
The MC will help a lot,
because if you do have a good MC, he will be able to coordinate with the hall, coordinate with the captain, make sure that everything is coming in time, and what can we do because the hall needs an extra time. So there's a lot of elements there. Maybe you don't need that day coordinator, that planner, but maybe with that good MC you can get away with. But there's a lot of couples, they don't want to do MCs anymore, or they do MCs, or they want maybe a DJ that can do a couple of announcements, which is for me is very not so personal. It's kind of weird because it's like you're sitting down, your guests are sitting down, and then all of a sudden somebody starts speaking, and you're like, okay, so what's happening?
Where's the voice of God coming?
Exactly. It's more like a voice of God, more like announcements.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's very, but people don't mind. But if you want a good show and you want people who have face-to-face with the MC, I think that's the better way. So I think we'll say that for you to decide if you want to do it yourself. So a word of advice will be to keep it as simple as possible.
Simple as possible, 100%. And if you want to do maybe a family member, that could be your MC because they know a lot of the family and it's like they're fresh, they're good to talking, and like not that quiet person. You do need that extra person to be there and have no shame. Maybe make a joke, make the people laugh, get them all rowdy when they have to and calm when they also have to. It's very nice. It helps out a lot.
Yeah, family MCs can go. For me, I have my opinion on that, and I work with some they're good and some they're not. So it really depends.
You really have to be good.
It's sometimes it's hard to get somebody that really understands
crowd.
what is happening and the importance of, like, if he calls a speech and the videographer is in the washroom, guess what? You half of that
waiting.
speech, half of that speech, you're not gonna have it.
Yeah.
So that is the reality. So if you have somebody that's just announcing, with that majority of family MCs, that's what we'll do. They'll start announcing stuff
Randomly.
without not telling anybody what's happening.
Yeah, you have to make a call. You have to, like, there's procedures that, again, wedding planners typo follow, and this is how we make everything run so smooth that at the end of the night you're gonna come. It's like, wow, that was so easy, and yeah, we made it look easy.
Exactly.
It was not easy.
Like, behind the scenes wasn't that easy, but we made
with
it
the smile on our faces.
Yes.
It was fine.
Okay, so let's recap a couple of things that we had discussed. So basically, I'm gonna move the whole picture event, like a wedding. That will be step number one. Put it all there.
Yeah, all down.
Think about what is that dream wedding that you want. Once you get that, then you select the location, because it could be, we talk about destinations, we talk about the places where you live, where your family members are, where your friends are going to be. So big picture, location, venue, right? Once selected venue, then you put your deposit there, and then you're locked in.
Married with the venue.
Yeah, exactly. So now you have the venue, and then you have that portion. Then we're talking about more. When do you decide, can I do this myself? Do I have the help? Because you're not going to be able, especially that week before the event, you're going to be crazy.
Yeah.
You're going to be choosing between doing centerpieces, or going to the salon, or doing your nails and all that, and you want
to have to take your time.
You want to be relaxed, right?
You gotta.
So
ask
if
for
you
vacation.
decide to do your centerpieces, I suggest you go some flowers and some bowls, and there you go.
Call it a day.
These days, people are renting them, right? So there's a lot of rentals.
Yeah, a lot of, like, nice flowers, silk, or whatever. They look real. The other day, I had a comment from a lady. Are those real? Can I touch them? I'm like, yeah, 100% touch them. They're fake. Yeah. They're 100% fake. They are not real.
So and it's cheap. And again, in this do-it-yourself wedding scenario, we're not saying that you need to do it yourself, even the centerpieces, because that could be something that you rent, or that you get a vendor, a flower person to do it, like a decor company.
A decor company.
So it's not do it yourself the entire. It's not that you're gonna DJ yourself. You're still gonna need a DJ. Yeah. You're still gonna need an MC if that's something that you're looking for. A photographer, right?
But you may not need, like, an entertainer.
But how can you pace this in a way that you can? How much time do you think they a do-it-yourself wedding versus somebody with a planner? How much more preparation do they need?
I would say more than people nowadays. They do 2 years ahead of time.
2 years.
1 year, 1 year and a half, minimum.
So normally in wedding scenario, we're talking about couples do a year.
A year. You need a year, because now you don't know if the venue that you finally think that's the one that you want, it's gonna be booked. What about the date? What about the rest of the people? What if people are coming from abroad? Like, you gotta give them time, right? Vacation, all this, right? So you do need a year, unless it's an intimate wedding of 20 people.
Yeah.
And they're all in the same location, like same country, you're fine. That's no problem, right? But if you're going higher, 80, 100, you need to consider all those things, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, so consider the timing as well.
Yeah.
That's something that, as realistic can be for the more princess, white ball wedding.
Carriage and everything and horses.
You need more time than just, maybe a banquet hall. We just want to dance and just want to have a good time, and it really depends, because it all comes down to you. It all comes down to what you want, and that's gonna mean that you're gonna either have to pay more money. There's one means that you might, like I said, you might be able to give opportunities to small vendors, small businesses trying to grow. I think in this era, events are. And that's something that I'm gonna ask you, because I've been thinking about this a lot in the DJing portion of things, in the entertainment side of things. a lot of people are coming with, oh, I don't want to, with that, you know, cliche wedding. You know, talking about, I don't want to play this song. Oh, that's too cliche. I don't want. The people want to reinvent the wheel. That's my opinion.
Okay,
They're trying to be different.
Okay.
But a wedding is a wedding.
Yeah, you still need to play the ones that are hitting on this time. Like, for example, on my time, I had 2 or 3 songs. They have to play. People go nuts with it. Like, that's like the.
But that's my point is, and I think that the important part here that I think I'm trying to bring that scenario from the DJing side of things into the entire planning scenario is that. There's some people that they try to complicate things too much.
Okay.
And that comes to, again, a lot of, like, you're gonna have to spend more money with more things, like bringing the cake from the ceiling.
Yes.
That's one of the funny ones. But if you want to do the more you see now, people are doing the lasers and this effect and the sparklers and
like that. The sparklers cost money.
That's gonna cost you
like,
money.
They charge you per the one, and it's not like, oh, it's just one time. Yeah, but they have to refill it. They have to buy the product. They have to turn it on. You have to pay.
Well, regardless, like, it's a matter of in that sense for me, it's a matter of burning down the place.
100%.
Right, so you want to make sure that you have reliable vendor for this kind of things, because it's your family that is there, it's your friends. You don't want to have in that being that liability scenario. But for me, it's like they're trying to be different, but sometimes not in the good way. And that's when it's always different, it's always good, but there's things in weddings that you can change. It's a wedding.
It's a wedding. Like, you can what? You go, bride and groom gotta come in.
Exactly.
Like, at a point, hey, here comes the bride and the groom, and like, this is their new last name, whatever.
I think it happens with understanding, and this is something that I say all the time. For me, it's a matter of understanding what you're doing. And understanding the event you're doing. Like, we could talk. We're talking about specific weddings, but all this is applicable to any event. Live event is knowing what you want to accomplish. In other words, it means that what is the objective of that event? What are you trying to accomplish? So, you and I know this, and it happens a lot. It's like, I won the screens. I had a couple say, I won my initials projected with the light on the walls, and I'm like, okay, that's cute, but
why?
Like, what is it gonna do? Like, you're gonna spend $2-3 grand to do this, to do a light that you can accomplish the same with the vinyl wrapping, for instance.
Exactly.
Which is, for me, looks more elegant. It doesn't wash away when a kid puts his hand on the lights, because that's what, as soon as you put a light on the floor, a kid's just you're gonna run trying to catch it, right? So in this scenario, you're spending all this money. So again, back to the objective. So how a light with 2 initials will enhance the objective of a wedding more? I don't think it does in any way.
No. As if, like...
Because, okay, so, like, and this is something that... What is the objective of the wedding? Celebrating love, celebrating 2 families becoming one. It's a milestone for a couple.
Have a good meal, have a good party,
so
have a good
what?
drink.
How can we enhance that objective? What is that we're doing here? We're celebrating, right? So it's a celebration.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're celebrating these 2 people that just got married.
How?
What do you need? You need music.
And you need alcohol.
We dance, you eat, and you drink.
That's it.
Simple.
That's it. You don't have to complicate it more,
It doesn't need to be.
No.
So you get a video, okay, same day edit are cool.
Yeah, because you can see.
They're necessary, maybe not.
Not really. You don't need to pay for the first day edit. That's a whole person. You know how complicated it is to see this guy trying to put all the pieces together last minute. It's like, yeah, 9:30, yeah, no problem. And he's running there trying to rush to put everything from morning, since the makeup, 5 o'clock in the morning, I heard some brides. I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning to be ready for 5, so that I can have my makeup done, then my hair, then I gotta go here, then I gotta go, like, all of this is captured by someone.
Yeah,
right?
and,
So,
and you have those videographers there, and then you have these guys, which is an editor sitting,
yeah.
probably arriving at Backwell around 2 or 3 p.m.,
Yeah.
and then working to do that 2, 3 minute, 4 minute video.
Yeah.
Which is, again, it's amazing. Do you need it? That is going to enhance that experience more? Maybe not. Maybe it's something that you can put in the luxury category of things. Oh, you have an extra budget? Okay, why not? Again, like, we're not saying that well, in the scenario we're talking about being more pragmatic, more, let's do to the point, do it beautiful and do it well. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. So, again, so if you don't get the same day edit, then you don't need the screens. If you don't need the screens, it's less money you're paying. So
Just save $500. $5,000.
So there you go. So that is, if your savings are good, not necessarily. Now we're talking about, and again, to wrap up the whole objective thing, it's like we're talking about this event as a memorial for somebody that's no longer with us, which we see a lot, celebrations of life. Then you do need a screen, because that person is physically not there, and you need something to enhance and bring that memory. So that's where the audiovisual will help reach that objective, which is, in this case, we're celebrating the person that passed away.
Yeah.
So that is kind of like my 2 sentences into, like, if it's not gonna give you more or allow you to reach that goal more, don't do it.
It's a TBC whether you need it or not. It's like, maybe yes, maybe not. Let's see.
But again, there's things that sometimes, and there's in competition. There's a lot of competition in weddings with family members, right?
Yes. Who's paying? Who's not paying? Like, for example, I just got a comment today from a mom that says, "Yeah, we're waiting for the mother-in-law. We have to wait, even though she's not paying. I'm paying." And I'm like, they're like sitting, trying to act like, oh yeah, but I'm strong, and I'm gonna tell you what we're gonna do, because it doesn't matter what she says. I'm like, okay.
So there you go. You have that scenario where you have multiple people chipping in into
a bridal shower, right? So they're there to what? To celebrate the bride. Okay, the bride is not paying. Typically, the moms both divide the bill and they give the shower to the bride. That's what it is, right? But now I've seen it like where only one person pays. So then if that person's paying, the other one is like, how many people? Okay, no problem. That's it. Like, no more opinions, right?
Okay, so that is something to consider. Again, coming to, and I'm sure we're gonna talk more in the future about more specific things. What happens when you do go with the coordinator, when you do go with the planner, when you do go with this, but in this scenario that we're talking, like, you don't have that coordinator, so get the vendors that they're more important, that are gonna make your event a beautiful one, instead of just getting something because so and so got it, or I think at the end of the day, brides and grooms they're in that scenario DIY is either because they have a budget,
they're budget conscious,
and they need to stick to that. And I don't think everybody should spend $50,000-$60,000 on a wedding, which kind of like their numbers.
That's a down payment,
right?
That's a down payment. I don't. Yeah, no.
Whoever can afford that, good for them.
100%.
But in this scenario or thing, we're trying to give you the elements and the confidence. I think, in my opinion, it has to come down to the confidence that you're gonna need to have. So saying, you know what, I'm in this, and I had to do it myself.
Yeah.
And I need to select the right vendors. We see it all the time. We talk to a lot of brides and grooms.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it comes down to, how can you get to a point? You get to a vendor already so organized and so on point, because you did all the point A to like A, B, C, D, E, whatever, and then the vendor's gonna be wow, it's, you know,
Smooth. No problem.
everything's smooth, and they go. You hire them, deposit, you're good to go.
Yeah.
Instead of, you know, we tend to see a lot of, you know, we need to getting involved into a lot of things that don't match. Because when they come into us, they're like, oh, but I had this, but I had this DJ, but I had this. So sometimes when that happens, it gets messy because people don't get it. That, you know, venues have rules, the venue has different vendors, and then that becomes an issue. And we want you to be completely issues free, right? It shouldn't be this difficult, to be honest.
No, I shouldn't. And that will, again, come down to who do you have. Like, who's helping you, who's not helping you, and what type of vendors do you actually need. Like, that's what it is. It's just, now, you're going to hire a DJ, and you're going to hire 3 more entertainers. That's cutting it out. Like, a DJ's going to play, what, 2 hours?
Yeah, there you go. So
like,
you're paying, that's a great point.
Yeah. Like,
that's a great point. Again, in the scenario of this do-it-yourself weddings, that's a good advice because is sometimes you don't think about it. Oh, I want a violin player. I want this, I want that.
I want a guitar guy. I want a violin for the cocktail. I want this.
So you're paying a DJ full rate. Let him play. He's gonna play the entire event.
Yeah, he's gonna be there.
If you already went through that, you know, and your budget wise, when I'm saying a budget, don't cheap out on the DJ. Don't try to say, hey, what's your rate? Oh, I charge $1,200, and you're like, oh no, can I do it for $5? Like, because that's not gonna work. No. And if somebody says yes, beware.
Yeah.
But definitely overlapping vendors that they're gonna do the same
for
makes no sense.
No.
If you're gonna have multiple entertainment in that sense, try to make sure they cover different aspects.
Or they flow nicely with each other. You're not gonna have a mariachi and a ballet dancer.
And also, what is important also to in that scenario also, like when you go to one vendor, normally they're gonna refer people that they work with.
Yeah.
So that's a good starting point.
Yeah.
So who do you think will be the best vendor? Well, we know the vendor number 1 on our list is the venue.
The venue, yeah.
Right? Once you get that venue, do you go with a lot of the venue stuff? Do you think that's the right way to go?
If this venue is giving you know what, this is our preferred list or whatever, and this is vendors that come here all the time, they're already giving you, hey, you know what, we work well with these people, we can back them up. That's what they're telling you. They're telling you that list that they have there, it's the venue is backing them up and saying they're good vendors, they're good people, they deliver, we have them here every weekend, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is. And if you made it to that vendor list, that's a great thing to do.
I agree.
When someone from the venue says, you know what, oh my God, girl, I wish I had you here every weekend. That's a good vibe.
Yeah.
That means you really did your due diligence on working with a lot of other vendors, and when they all come up and say, you know what, this was amazing, this was smooth, it was lovely meeting you, because once again, when you're in a vendor table, you're there with 10, 12 people you have never seen in your life. And you have to work for an entire 10, 11 hours, 16 hours together. And you have to make it work. The video guy, the camera guy, they don't have to go in each other's timings. They don't gotta do right.
Yeah.
The DJ, the MC, they gotta work together. Even though they don't know each other, they don't work together. They don't come as a pair. They typically come separate, right? And then the venue, the operation manager, the violinist has to come and arrive at a certain amount of time. Right?
You always having that group of vendors that work good together is good. It's gonna be the way to go. I think for big venues they will have a lot of vendors that they normally work with. Again, it really depends. We're trying to put in the DIY wedding on a 5-star venue. That might not be the case.
Yeah.
You want to go. You want to have some room for your budget.
Yeah.
Because let's say you have potentially $20,000 to do this event, and you're burning 18 on the venue.
You get 2,000, you get nothing.
So that's something that is very important, and that's what I think a majority of people like they tend to do. They come, they go, oh, we can afford this venue. No, you can't. Because yes, you can afford the venue, but what about the flowers? What about the DJ? What about this and this and that? So they're not accounting for the other elements that they need to have. And that's when they start asking you, hey, can you do it for 200?
Hey, they don't have budget anymore.
Exactly. Hey, can I throw this for free or whatever, right? So that's a big no. I think you should have, in that budget, you should have, I would say not 50-50, but maybe 60-40, 70-30. Venue versus other vendors. Oh, of course it's gonna cost less. For venue is one of the ones that take the big charge because it's the food.
The food, the alcohol.
It's the alcohol. It's the tables, the chairs.
If you're not upgrading, because if you're upgrading, you're paying.
Exactly.
Right?
And a lot of upgrades are like.
They are expensive.
You need to pay for sure, right?
Of course,
so that's definitely something that you need to consider. Any advice that you can give these couples in the sense of, an experience that you said that you have to say like, this is like, definitely do this, don't do that. It's something that comes to mind.
Something like that.
So this is do it yourself. So if I think this is actually come up with the idea is a DIY wedding a yes or a no? I think that's where we're coming up with.
For me, it's a TBC. It really depends on how to be organized. There's no way a whole wedding will come all together. That's gonna just go disaster. That's one. Two, be budget conscious, no problem. But big thing, I would do a 60-40. 60% being the venue, because that's gonna help you a lot on the things that you gotta do, and then leave the 40% remainder of your budget that you have definitely for the rest of the people. That's 100%. One example I could do, which I was a day of coordinator, and I just remember the story. I did a wedding in Toronto Island for someone, and funny enough, it was in Toronto Island, so you got to get everybody to Toronto Island. She didn't plan for people to come back.
So you need to take one of those water taxis at $80 a ride. That's or you're saying here.
Boop. And I was really brought last minute, because there's a procedure that I go through. So kind of ask all this question, especially like if you're doing a Toronto Island wedding, I would ask the question: how are people getting there, and how are people coming back? That would be one of the questions I would ask 100%, right? And of course my bad, I didn't ask that question, or whatever, I was too late, whatever you want to put it as an excuse. And the time came where, you know what, hey, FYI, the servers are saying this is the last boat that's going back to, from this point on, it's only the taxi, like the water taxis, right? So it got difficult. And to a point, a lot of people wanted to leave at the same time. There's those things I think take, 12 people max?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so if 20 people want to leave, you got to wait half an hour for them to come back. Like, it's just, and the mosquitoes were a little bit, so outdoor weddings, with the mosquitoes and the flies and the this and the that, I don't know.
Well,
you gotta be good.
Yeah, I think in my case, I would say that definitely, big no, the MC. I think the MC not being for a big crowded wedding. Not having an MC is a mistake.
That is a mistake, yes.
Family MCs, like I said, they might work, they might not.
Depends.
But don't choose entertainment without, making sure what is happening at the venue. We know venues. The audiovisual portion is one of the most misunderstood things. on events, because why do I need this? Why I had to pay for that? And
why do you think
microphone.
You need that
okay, you want to do speeches, but you don't want to have a microphone.
So how you gonna do the speech?
Exactly. Or you want to have the speakers, but you want to have a DJ, but you don't want to pay for the sound. So I understand that scenario. So for me, it's a very important for people to understand that, if you're selecting a venue with rules, go with the rules. If you're selecting a venue, if you want to do whatever you want to bring whatever you want, you found this DJ that can bring anything, just go to a venue that doesn't have any restrictions. That's something that is very important. Yeah. So restrictions, go with the in-house. It's going to be the best scenario.
You're going to have less of a headache.
That's what it is. But that comes down to, in that scenario, the higher the venue, the more that is going to be. Also, you can compare apples to apples when it comes down to a DJ with a couple of speakers versus a banquet hall sound system.
Yes, that's a difference.
Right?
For sure.
So, and people think it's a DJ, so they don't see in the other part. The part of having the speakers, the sound, the microphone, how many microphones, the capacity of the room. How many people? Do you have 150 people in a wedding in a room that looks like is more horizontal than it's kind of weird shaped, and then you have this event here, and then you have a table in the far back.
Yeah.
And the sound doesn't reach there.
Yeah.
Because the DJ brought 2 speakers.
Yeah. So.
Oh, I can hear. So you get what you pay for.
Yes.
Right. So at the end of the day. That is what for me is be careful, trying to find somebody that is actually explaining this to you, and don't cheap out on that, because then your guests are gonna have a bad experience.
Yeah.
You're gonna come back to the DJ and you're gonna say, oh, you suck, but then you ask the DJ for discounts. So there you go. DJ wants the gig. Any vendor will want to have the gig. If the vendor that is busy, it won't even entertain the idea of the discount. No. But if it's somebody, like I say, with small businesses, you're trying to grow, you're trying to put your food in the market, you're gonna have to give some discounts. So it's an advantage for somebody looking for discounts, right? Exactly. So that is I think it's a win-win scenario. Ask for marketing discounts. Say, hey, because here's the thing, that as vendors we record things. We post it on social media. It's very mild.
Yes.
Right? But if you do wanna, let's say I wanna have a campaign with that, I wanna post it, I wanna boost it in social media and do advertisement, I need some sort of consent. Read the small letters on your contracts, by the way, because they might say that I can use this for marketing purposes. So you need to know what's that. But it's on the table. Maybe that DJ, that photographer, that videographer, that planner will say like, I'll give you a good price. Just allow me to use your wedding as a for my website, for my Instagram, or you know what I mean. Do you mind giving me a review here, or like an actual testimonial?
Yeah, exactly. You can record them and
then I can record that, and that's going to bring more clients to those small businesses, and it's a win-win. And then they give you a discount because you're allowing them to use your image and your event as part of
your space.
Exactly, because you're paying for that space. So that's definitely the scenario, right? So I think that's kind of like the conversations you need to have. There's some people that might understand and the other people that might not. So but if you're trying to say this to a vendor and the vendor is a small business, he doesn't understand that, run the other way, because he doesn't know what he's doing. And it's just an advice. But okay, so if we can wrap this up in a sense, what do you think we can so DIY weddings, yes, with conditions,
and be minded of your budget, be minded of who you're hiring, like pretty much because you will depend on them. Like it's gonna be like a depending situation now.
So basically in that first step of imagining your wedding, and putting and writing all this down and saying, okay, I want this, I want it to be, you know, like, and when I say imagine the full picture, I'm not saying that you need to go into details and you're gonna call vendors to see how much they're gonna charge you. No. You put it all there like how you see it. You put it on a piece of paper. You put it in whatever you want. You say like, I want it to be, like, it needs to be during the day. Or I want it to be in October because I like
a date,
right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to. How do you see? It's an outdoor. It's an indoor. Like
seasons.
Do I see exactly right?
Seasons, yeah.
What seasons are you looking?
Yeah.
I want it to be with a lot of natural light. I don't want natural light. I want more like clubby.
Hall, yeah.
Exactly right. So
whatever it is, yeah.
That is, I think, we're talking about the overall idea, because that's gonna drive you to the venue.
Yeah.
And say, okay, so this is the venue. I can see this how it fits with my idea, right? And then you start building from there. There's I think there's an elephant in the room, which means that you might want the Princess Cinderella castle wedding, but you don't have the budget for it. So that's the elephant in the room. Nobody will tell you that.
Yeah.
I am telling you that. So even when you're doing that overall idea, have in mind that you also don't have millions in the bank.
Yes, you need to pay for it. You want Cinderella, you need to pay. You want Disney, you gotta pay.
But like, I want a Ferrari.
Yeah, well.
Like, I like a Porsche or a Ferrari,
sure, but then
I don't.
Have it still takes you there,
exactly
right?
right. So for me, that doesn't necessarily mean that I understand that there's a $500,000 car that I don't have. I can't afford.
That's a want.
Right,
you
but that's
don't
what
need it. You want it.
But that's what I'm saying. Like in this picture,
yes,
trying to be. Really? No, I'm not trying to be like a dream killer here or anything, or a negative pessimist. What I'm saying is like trying to be.
Dream in your level, no?
Exactly. Pretty much.
You can dream, but dream in your level.
And then you can accomplish. You might be surprised. I mean, a lot of the things that you want.
Yeah.
Maybe are within reasonable. There's a way to doing it, or the closer enough to what you envision.
And someone can help you.
Exactly.
Or, but someone reliable.
But
that's a key word.
If I want to say here, like we're joining Toronto, and we're like, I want this princess wedding at Casa Loma, that's going to cost you money.
It is going to cost you money.
Right? So, again, banquet halls are different.
And Casa Loma has a very short period of...
There's one thing, there in Canada, there's a lot of banquet halls.
Yes, there is.
A lot.
Or not only banquet halls,
but I'm not saying they're all good.
No, they're not all good. Locations, restaurants, now mansions.
People are renting farms.
Yeah.
Barns.
Or the bridal path, they're renting mansions for the whole weekend. And you get to be there, do your wedding there. They have pools, they have stuff.
I think we will do something about venues.
Yes, sure. Let's do another one.
Let's do another one about venues.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of venues here in Ontario that I work.
Yeah.
That I find them just beautiful. And maybe that they're within your budget. Well, maybe we can present a couple of venues.
Yeah, say like
each
this,
and talk about different things.
Yeah, 100%.
Again, we're not getting paid for any of those venues whatsoever to say anything. We just say what we want to say based on experiences that we had.
Yes.
Okay, so I think that's it for me.
That's a click.
Why weddings? There you go. That's my Spanish brain kicking in.
Yes. Messing up with the letters on your head.
And then if it's worth it, it's not worth it. We're gonna leave it to you to draw your own conclusions. We hope that this information finds some be useful for some of you.
It helps. Yeah.
By no means we think that we have the
crystal ball.
The whole truth about this.
No.
My people differ. People have different opinions. This is our opinion.
Yeah. Cultures and stuff also affects.
And that's it really depends on that, and you have the ultimate choice. We're gonna put where you can find Karen on social media if you're looking for a planner. If you're looking for a lot of services that she provides, we're gonna put it there.
Yeah.
It's gonna be in the description. and as well for myself.
Yeah.
And we hopefully you like this content, and we're gonna do another one soon.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye bye.